We are live at the Spero Clinic in Northwest Arkansas, where we are excited to announce that Shawna is graduating today. So Shawna's pain started in April 2020. When you started at the clinic, your pain was 8 out of 10.
Or higher.
Some days 10 out of 10. She worked really hard. Recently now, you've been able to do a little bit of hiking with your daughter. I know Mista's been working pretty hard, hitting hundreds for the last 2 weeks.
We've been hitting it hard. She's a beast.
Yeah. And your pain, I mean, on your soap note, I've not seen it higher literally than a 1 or a 2. So you worked really hard and we're all really proud of you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, so I'm nervous. Bear with me. I'm going to start with a few thank yous. So just give me a few minutes. I don't want to miss anybody. So first and foremost, I want to thank God. Didn't get very far. For seeing me through this life challenge. Without him, the road would have been much harder. Thank you to my family for all the love and support. The many fundraisers, Mom, don't cry. The many fundraisers orchestrated and carried out, giving me the possibility to seek treatment here at Spero Clinic. Also, thank you for not giving up on me when I know it can be very difficult to deal with on those extremely hard days. And thanks to everybody, family, and anybody else who has helped in any way, shape, or form in my opportunity to get here. Thank you, Dr. H, for your dedication to helping all of us with pinpointing our bacteria, our viruses, our food sensitivities, and all the other amazing things that you do. And thank you for always knowing what is needed to be said to calm my concerns. And Dr. Lucas, thank you for your expertise and your emotional healing. It truly is a difference maker. Even if I didn't need to see him anymore, I would still go see him. He's awesome. He always has a way of lifting us up. Dr. B, thank you for your time and efforts in finding out what was going on, all trying to pinpoint all the issues that I continued to have long after the pain was gone. Trying to conquer those added little bonuses that seem to be holding up my progress. I appreciate that. I appreciate all your patience and efforts in figuring everything out, so thank you very much. And then there's Drs. Lauren and Dr. T. The wonderful conversations that we always had in those early Vegas treatments. I love that room and I love the two who occupy it. We had a lot of fun in there. This truly is, and I know we've heard other patients say this, but this truly is the best BLT that I've ever had. But we can't leave the M out of that BLT, and I know you guys are probably like, M? No, not mayonnaise. Dr. M, aka Dr. Malik. He's such a professional little addition to this clinic. That's what I called him when he was here. He really liked that. And thank you to all the Spero staff for your kindness, your patience, your cheerful good mornings every day walking in, and your constant positivity. I know we can all be trying at times, and it takes the entire village, and each and every one of you are extremely important, and you make all the difference in our recovery, so I just want you to know that. You're greatly appreciated. And thank you to all the former, current, and future patients for being such a strong support system for all of us. Having this community is a huge piece to the healing puzzle. No need for explanation, justification, or defending of our diagnosis. Just the presence of each other is really all that we need. We all get it without any words having to be spoken. And for those of you who are watching that have never been here, if you've ever wondered what this treatment is all about, or if you've had any reservations, I just challenge you to spend 5 minutes in this waiting room and watch the miracles that happen every day, and you will no longer have any reservations. And a huge thank you to Dr. K for dedicating her career to finding the best of the best treatments for CRPS, and for creating an atmosphere of family where we can always come and we're always welcome, where we can share our stories with one another and get reciprocating support that we also desperately need. We are definitely some of the most fragile humans coming into this clinic, and without Dr. Katinka and her tenacity to get better and better at treating CRPS, we would not be able to have this celebration today. Katie, my first NMR therapist, thank you for all the laughter you provided each day and keeping things light. But more importantly, thank you for pushing me to hit my first 0, and for helping me get to that permanent 0 in my ankle and foot. I appreciate that. you're a beast also. And then Misa, who insisted that we search for new hotspots. What seemed like a daily ritual for quite a while, especially in the beginning, but for the frequent laughter, telling me I don't care as long as you feel better. That was when I was lovingly saying I don't like you very well. And your favorite response, and I hear this probably every day, you're fine, you're fine. And I am, and I was. Thank you for brutalizing me daily, but pushing me, those days pushed me harder and harder to get to where I am today, and for that I do greatly appreciate it. Thank you. And now this is a heavy word, it's gonna get really hard. I'm not usually one to publicly discuss my private life, share things about my personal life. And I've tossed around and around whether I share my story today or just say thank you and go home. But I think it's very important for others who are suffering and possibly lost to hear our stories. And I feel as a nurse who's worked decades in the medical field, traditional medical professionals need to hear. They need to hear this. They need to hear what happens here. They need to know what happens to us. And I also believe that it's important for us to be able to close this chapter of our lives, that we need to share what we've been through. So in a nutshell, my CRPS journey began April 7, 2020. And like so many others, traditional medical doctors have failed us. I suffered an injury to my right ankle, and thinking I'd simply sprain it, I just iced it, elevated it, did all the things that was necessary to do. But it wasn't getting any better. So approximately 7 weeks, I did go seek some medical assistance. However, my CRPS went undiagnosed. After x-rays, MRIs, multiple other tests, my last visit with my initial provider, he held my cold, blue, shriveled foot in his hands and softly whispered to himself, "Why is her foot so cold?" But he didn't do anything to find out. After telling me the x-rays and the MRI showed no damage, he placed me in a boot for 3 weeks, stating getting the weight off of my foot would correct everything, put me on a prednisone pack, and sent me on my way. And when I came out of that boot, I was again cut loose because he didn't know what else to do. He didn't even see me again after coming out of that boot. But I was now immobile. My right foot and ankle had no range of motion, no stabilization. And feeling lost again, I just went back to what I knew, went back travel nursing, and I traveled and worked at COVID ICU hotspots before returning to try and find another doctor who could hopefully tell me why I couldn't move my ankle, why my foot and leg were wobbling, changing colors and temperatures, and all the other wonderful things that come with the CRPS diagnosis. At my first appointment with the foot and ankle specialist that I did find, I was diagnosed upon entering my room, seeing the condition of my foot and ankle. They began immediately throwing all kinds of treatments my way, offering all kinds of different options, hoping to give me some kind of relief. And I do truly thank that doctor for his aggressiveness in doing what he knew to do to try to save my leg. However, too many nerve blocks, too many multiple different physical therapy providers throughout the almost 4 years, awful medications that didn't do any good and only had horrendous side effects. Nothing was helping it get any better. They told me all the things. This is a rare condition. We're still trying to figure out how to treat it. You're going to have this for the rest of your life. You're maybe in a wheelchair. We can only help you with the symptoms. And you're probably going to lose your leg. I became very isolated, and I entered a pretty dark place for a while. They call CRPS the suicide disease for a reason. I'm a nurse. I take care of people. I couldn't picture myself on the opposite side of that care, and I certainly couldn't picture myself as an amputee confined to a wheelchair. I was a very active person, always on the go, and now I rarely ever left my home. I had my plan. I had the means to make it happen. I had tough conversations with my family, and I explained what the outcome appeared to be, and I tried to prepare them for the worst. I drew up a will and distributed it to my kids, but thankfully I was able to hold on to that gleaming spark of hope. In October 2020, after I wasn't responding to any of the treatments, I had surgery to repair the ankle as it was unstable and needed to be repaired. A week later, I wound up in the hospital with infection. And then there was the rush to get a spinal cord stimulator placed because we have to save that leg. The spinal cord stimulator was placed in February of 21, and by mid-May, my CRPS began to spread to my hips, my back, and quickly spread throughout the majority of the rest of my body, causing a lot more pain throughout my body, GI problems, blood pressure issues, and so much more. Although my daughter had spent a lot of time researching and had found Spero Clinic early on, after receiving my CRPS diagnosis along with trying to juggle all the things being tossed my way, it took a long time for me to wrap my head around everything. I spent most of my time curled up in bed or on the floor as I couldn't get comfortable any other way. 2 years later, on a sunny morning in late August 2022, I woke up and I knew I couldn't live this way anymore. So I called Spero and scheduled myself for the intro program, and I came in September of 22. We began fundraising, and I scheduled myself to start treatment in August of 2023. I honestly knew this was the only option I had, and this was the only thing that was going to work. There are several Bible verses that reference the following, but it's also known as a very, very well-known poem, and it states, "And the Lord replied, my child, I love you and I would never leave you during your times of trial and suffering. When you see one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you." Throughout my life, I have been faced with many difficult trials, and I succeeded in conquering those trials, but I did not do it alone, and this trial was no different. 7 years ago, I began a personal journey to become the best version of myself that I could be, and yes, I'm still working on it. I think that we can always work on ourselves. But I set out on a journey beginning every single day with prayer, thanking God for what He had blessed me with and seeking His guidance for my day. I followed that with reading or listening to personal development, and then I end each day as well with gratitude. And I'm very thankful that I got into that habit, into that routine prior to my experience with CRPS and my injury, because I truly believe that had I not already been practicing a positive mindset and had faith in God, I would not be standing here today. God has definitely carried me when I couldn't walk on my own. And just to wrap things up here, I've always said it's so important to be kind always. The simplest smile can be what totally changes the trajectory of somebody's day. And we as CRPS and other chronic pain sufferers know we can put a smile on our face when necessary, regardless of how we may feel inside. But as sufferers of the most horrendous pain condition, we know what somebody else's simple gesture can do. And I promise you, when you give somebody that simple gesture, you may be saving a life. So here I am today, December 28th, 2023, ringing this bell. Other than a new grandbaby, which was supposed to be here 10 days ago, I can't think of a better gift than being pain-free and being in remission. So, thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Shawna came in every day, worked really hard. I got her after she was already hitting zeros. So a lot of what we did was strength building, endurance, being able to stand in a creek and your foot not flaring. That was a big thing.
That was big. It was like 30 degrees outside.
But she's been awesome. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. And thank you.
Yeah,
You guys are awesome.
we had to kick it off, the journey to your new life, you know? And zeros were coming already, but like she said, you guys just kept kicking butt. There wasn't a day that I remember that I had you that you ever seemed negative about anything, you know? Always just maybe asking questions, which is fine, you know?
I probably asked a lot of questions.
It was fun because you were still close, so I bugged you guys all the time and popped in, but now you can ring the bell, so when the grandbaby comes, you're set,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
You're gonna be ready.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. All right.